everyone. My name is Johan. I'm part of the team here at Pond. Wanted to welcome you to today's vendor demo session with Sherry from SureImpact. Before I turn it over to Sherry, I wanted to quickly remind everyone that if you're interested in learning more about this solution, we'd encourage you to send Sherry a Pond message. You can do this by logging into your Pond account and then navigating to the SureImpact provider page, and then click send message. From there, you can get your questions answered or request a one-on-one meeting. And as a reminder, we'll put Pond credits in your account for every meeting arranged through the platform. Without further ado, let me turn it over to Sherry.
Thank you so much, Johan. Hi, I'm Sherry Cheney-Jones. I'm the president and founder of Measurement Resources Company, but also today we're here to talk about SureImpact, which is a cloud-based online solution to help nonprofits better track, measure, and communicate their unique social impact. So a little bit about how we got started as a company before I dive into the demo. I have a 20-year career in nonprofit impact measurement, impact management, and was consulting and helping nonprofits like yourself develop their impact measurement framework, provide program evaluation. And our customers were coming to me and saying, Sherry, we absolutely love the impact and the results that you're providing. What technology should we be using? So as we went to explore what technology should we be using, we realized that the product that we wanted to recommend was not on the market. So we developed it ourselves, and that's how SureImpact has come to be. And I'm excited to demo our innovative platform here for you all today. Let me get my screen share up. So like I mentioned, SureImpact lives on the cloud, and we know that mission-driven nonprofit organizations exist to improve the quality of life and well-being for the individuals and communities that you serve. So you need to not only be able to talk about, what you do, but you need to talk about how you're proving that you're changing lives and changing circumstances. And SureImpact helps create those stories, tell those stories, have your insights and your outcomes right at your fingertips. So when you log on to SureImpact, all of your organizations or all of your employees will have their own unique login through a very easy interface. They'll use their email, password, and their credentials will then demonstrate what outcomes dashboards that they see. So you can see here as a demo organization here, you'll see the number of service hours that your organization has completed. If I'm an individual staff person, my number of service hours are going to be the number of service hours I've done. My supervisor is going to see the number of service hours for their entire department. And then our manager or the administrators, the executive directors of your nonprofit, they will log in and they will see the number of service hours across their entire organization. So again, those are outputs tracking, things that nonprofits are normally able to track. You also can then filter by time range if you want to look at just what did I do this month? What did I do last year? You're also able to do equity filters right here in the platform, easy to use. If you're saying, you know what, we say that we're targeting females. I want to make sure that we truly are delivering services to females. If you apply that female filter, you'll see that it will quickly adjust here and it's going to show us, yep, the majority of the service hours that we provided were to females. So you can use that with equity, race. So again, if you have a presentation for a funder and need to show them how you're serving different populations, making sure that you're getting outcomes for those people. But in addition to just talking about the number of service hours that you do, we also have available to our users their service hours report. So again, very similar, this is going to break down what you do with your beneficiary. So you'll see all the different services that you provide. It'll break down those service hours. Again, you can filter this report by date range, race, ethnicity, if a client was inactive, not inactive. So again, those output reports that you're asked to do all the time right here at your fingertips. Additionally, on your dashboard, you'll go then, and this is where deduplication of clients, if you've ever had to, for a funder track, the difference between total number of clients enrolled in your organization versus number of clients that were directly served or directly received services. Again, your SureImpact dashboard shows you that right here, the difference between, you may have 18,000 clients who've interacted with your organization or enrolled in your system, but during a time period, in this case, only 7,000 of them have received direct services. So again, this provides conversations that you can have with your team, with your staff, to say, well, how can we get more individuals engaged into our programs and services? Because without engaging people, we're not changing lives. But then here's the real innovative part. It's that SureImpact now gives you your output or your outcome tracking right here at your fingertips. So you'll see, and again, if I'm an individual contributor, when I log on, I'll see how my work has moved the needle. My supervisor will see how our whole team's work is moving needles on important outcomes. And then my executive director, when she or he logs in, they will be able to see how my whole entire organization, everyone's efforts have come together to move the needle on key outcomes that matter to our nonprofits. And so just at a glance, each of these little tiles are dependent on what your nonprofit is important to measure for you. We have a measures library, which I'll get into here in a minute, that has over 200 best practice measures. So if you're sitting around there saying, Sherry, we would absolutely love to be able to tell this impact story of our work, but we don't know where to start. That is totally fine, because we have the measures library for you. Our partner success team, when we start working with a nonprofit, we work with you to identify what would be the best outcomes for your particular organization. But if you're a data-driven organization already and you say, we know exactly what we want to measure, we just want a tool to help us easily and quickly calculate that data, that's fine too. We would build the software with zero dev, zero implementation, extra fees to get it, your outcomes to be what you need them to be. So how are we going to read this outcomes dashboard? Well, you can see right here, this particular organization achieving a housing goal and being able to pay their mortgage or rent is one of those key outcomes that they're trying to help those that they serve achieve. So you see here on your dashboard, it shows me that at the beginning, the first time we interacted with individuals within our network, only 76% of them have been able to pay their mortgage or rent. Currently, so all of the individuals in our organization is currently working with, 77% have been able to pay their mortgage or rent. But then we'll look at maintained, and we see that those individuals who ever did successfully get to that goal, only 58% have been able to maintain that, meaning they've been able to, continue to pay their mortgage or rent. So that allows us to see the volatility of this particular outcome and where we may need to work on. And so again, all of these tiles will be dependent on whatever you want them to be, whatever outcomes are important to you. But you'll see here, we just have an example of people paying their income, their financial goals, food stability outcomes, health stability outcomes, housing risk level and how it's improving. So you have a snapshot right here that says, hey, here's how we're doing. This is where we need to improve. This is where we're excelling. Your grants officers, your grants managers, when they go into SureImpact, they'll have this data at their fingertips. No need to go back down to the programs and ask them to spend hours and hours and hours trying to manipulate and calculate Excel spreadsheets to get to these results. So I'm sure you're saying, this is amazing, Sherry. My nonprofit needs these types of insights, but how do you create? It must be hard to use. Well, let me show you how easy it is to use SureImpact and how SureImpact is designed specifically for the social sector. So SureImpact thinks like a logic model thinks. There's a lot of there are a lot of programs and products out there that have been built for sales teams, and they're asking program managers, nonprofit organizations to use it to track program outcomes. They were not designed with the nonprofit in mind. SureImpact was specifically designed for nonprofit organizations by people who have been in nonprofit sector for over 20 years. So it thinks like your nonprofit works, right? We know that your nonprofit has programs, and within those programs you have staff, and your staff are delivering services to your clients to achieve those outcomes. So very much like a logic model. If you've ever been in the grant making world and been asked to talk about your program inputs and your outputs and your outcomes, SureImpact thinks just like that logic model thinks. So it is very flexible for you to add your own programs. So we just have some samples here, but if you're going to add a program, it's very easy. If you get a grant, your administrator, your SureImpact administrator can come in and name the new program and create a description, funded under grant X. You can put your program cost. So then you'll be able to start to calculate things, well, like we call cost per success. Then there are two different types of programs that SureImpact allows you to create. There's the client-based program. So this is where you're going to track individual level outcomes, individual level demographics, individual level information over time. And then there's non-client-based programs, and those are programs where maybe you're not tracking every single individual. Maybe it's a community engagement event where you just need to track, hey, we had 30 people come through our doors at this engagement event and we've distributed 20 boxes of diapers. But you don't need to say Sherry received a box of diapers and she is a white female. So that would be the distinction, but it's flexible enough that you can create both types of programs within SureImpact. So once we create a client-based program, we're going to save that. Oh, I need a start date. I'm going to say that. So now that's how easy it is to get started and start to, I already have that program in here. There we go. How easy it is to get started. So you see now we've added our new program. Then I talked about how programs have measures. So as soon as you add a new program, the next thing you'll need to do is assign the measures to that program. I mentioned my measures library, the measures library we have in here. So again, over 200 best practice measures. And if you have others, we build them and add those in for you to find at your fingertips. But if you're a workforce development program and you're looking to measure economic or income, you could say, okay, income stability is something we want to measure. We also want to measure employment skills, and employment status. Let's say those are your key measures for this program. Now you're up and running and your team is ready to go and can start tracking through SureImpact. So once we've created a program, now we can do a couple things. We can start assigning clients to our program if we want. And we can say, okay, I'm going to assign these fake clients here. So we've got our clients are assigned to SureImpact, and how the data gets tracked is if I am a case manager and I'm going in and I'm seeing Angela today, I'm going to record, what did I do with Angela? Well, Angela and we had a communication. So I'm just going to track that we had a phone call for an hour on this date and time, and we talked about job hunting. And I can save it, or if I want to, let's say it was a group event and I had a class of 5 different people to talk about job hunting, I can take attendance very easily, and it's going to put all of these participants it's going to record them in this record. So now I know I held this group class and we had 5 people attend on that date. And then because Angela is enrolled, depending on what programs Angela is enrolled in, will change what measures I see. So we're just going to have her put in this new program we just created. So if I'm the person working with Angela, I know that I need to put in her employment skills. So I can say at the beginning of this date, did she pass a test? Yes or no? Employment status. It's again the self-sufficiency matrix, the income self-sufficiency matrix. So I know to go in and fill in this information. This is the data that then gets fed up to your dashboard at an individual level. So if I want to know what's going on with Angela at any given time in my organization, I can go in and see her history. So I can see all of the things that Angela has done within my organization. If we had measures for her, the how she's changed over time would be here too. Let's do that right here live. So we say, okay, Angela got her GED today. We're super proud of her. So yes, she passed and her certificate was a GED. We're going to save that. And then employment status. Let's say we talked to her and we said we talked to her in March. She was not employed, so we don't have an employer. She is not employed and she works 0 hours a week right now. So we're going to save that. But let's say she came back in today, and since passing her GED, she is now employed and she's working at Kroger. And her employment type is now full-time and she's working 40 hours a week. We're going to save that. So then when we go to her history, we will see how she has moved the needle on her measures. So if you're an individual and you just want to say, what's been going on with Angela? How has Angela's progress been making? I can see it here through her history. But then all of that data is what's going to populate and feed up your dashboards, so you have that at your fingertips. Now you may be watching this and saying, that's really cool, Sherry, but my funder requires me to use some other system or some other software. That is completely fine with us. We knew that was the case because we know nonprofits have to use sometimes funded mandated systems. And the problem with the funder mandated system is it's the black hole of death for data, right? You put all of your data in, but you can't get your data out. We want the insights at your fingertips, not just for you, but for your staff, for your teams, for everyone in your organization to be a more data-driven culture and climate. So if we have data from another source, it's very easy to upload into SureImpact. All you have to do is say, I'm going to bulk import a client file. So if you can get your data in an Excel format, you can upload it easily into SureImpact. It works just like a mail merge, and I don't have any files right now to upload, but it's just a mail merge file. So it uploads it. It reads the fields that are in SureImpact. It reads the fields in your file. You just match where they are, hit import, boom. Now all of your clients are in there and ready for you to record what you're doing with them and how well they're doing. Now you may also be thinking, okay, well, this sounds good, but I have, I have very, very specific templates. I don't have a lot of time and energy to be able to configure things. And, I'm sure it requires a lot of importing and implementation. No, it doesn't. If you get a new grant tomorrow that is already asking for a bunch of new information that you're not currently collecting, that's fine. We have very easy drag and drop interfaces to allow you to design what we call your client template, the demographic data that you serve or that you want to collect about an individual right here. So you just would say, okay, I want to see this general information. If there are new fields that you want to add, no problem, just drag and drop over and add a new field and say, okay, I want to add a new text field and I need to ask about the person's benefits. And here I've got that. And you can design it however you want it. You can identify if it is required, if it's not required, how big you want it to look on the page. Is it a full page? You want to start at a new line. So you can make these, we call them forms. You can make these forms look just like paper forms you used to use. So everyone feels comfortable knowing where to find the information. Then you can preview it to see what it will look like. So you can see that it's right here. And then when you're ready, you publish it. And as soon as you publish it, that new form gets pushed down to everyone in your organization. So now they have the ability to track that information. So when we go to our, I didn't talk about that, creating a new client. These are the forms that we talked about. And let me go here. So if we go to Jane, we want to look at a new client, we can see we've got her general information, her race and ethnicity information, family information. You can even link family members. So if you're a multi-generation organization and you're working with 2 people, you can add those family relations together. So you know that they're together and can look at family outcomes. And then you can, like I mentioned, you can custom build your own types of measures or delete any, or not measures, but questions, or you can delete things as well. So this particular organization wants to do a housing stability screen to know how to triage, know how to send them to where they need to go. And so this has all been custom built. Out of the box, the template is aligned with TANF. So if anyone receives TANF funding, you already have the requirements built into your system to meet those funding needs. But again, it's super user-friendly. Our customers tell us that it is easier to use than Excel, because I know most of you are probably using Excel or Google Sheets. And SureImpact is designed to break those silos down and allow you to have everything you want right there at your fingertips. And everything, as I mentioned, can be imported. Your service data can be imported. Even your measure data can be imported with very easy. If you want to import measure data, you can search the measure outcomes that you need to implement, then it will give you a template. So it will show you this is how the data must be structured to read correctly into SureImpact. And then you choose that file and boom, there it is. And it's populating up to your dashboard. So it's a very high level overview of how SureImpact works, how it makes getting from serving people to proving how you are changing lives and changing circumstances and allowing your organization to be a bit better data-driven organization. Now, I don't know, Johan, if we can take questions or if there are any questions, but that's what I'm prepared to share everyone today.
Great. Yeah, if there are any questions from folks, we can definitely take those in the chat. I haven't seen any come through yet. Maybe just give folks a minute in case something comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was one more thing I didn't talk about, and that was just the staff feature. So again, for the SureImpact administrators, very easy to add staff. If you're the SureImpact administrator, you have a new hire, you can go ahead and you just add in the person's first and last name, their email address. As soon as you save it, it sends them an email and they can start to log in and use SureImpact for the clients that are assigned to them. So if you're an individual contributor, so we have the role here. If you're an individual contributor, you only see the clients that are assigned to you. If you're a manager, you see the clients that are assigned to you or assigned to your staff. And then if you're an administrator, you see everything. We also, have put some basic information about staff in here so that you can do, if you want to run analyses based on tenure of an employee and successful outcomes, or really start to understand. We had one SureImpact user that was using this, looking to see if they could use maybe lower credentialed staff to deliver services. Obviously, it's a more affordable for that organization if they can do that, easier to hire for those positions. But they wanted to ensure that by making that decision, they were creating equal outcomes. So SureImpact data allowed them to do that as well. And the other thing that I did not mention, but I would love to, is that not only can you import all of your data, but you can easily export all of your data as well. And so you can go in here, and if you wanted to export the data that's in your SureImpact account, you can export it, and it will export into a flat Excel file. Now, if you're the data manager in your organization, you will love this. And this is it was one of the very first things that I drove when building the product, because as a former program evaluator, I would ask for our clients' data, because maybe we were doing a regression, or we were doing some really higher level analyses, and they would spend the data, or how the data was exported to us was so, I just realized I should not have exported this person's data, because they have like 18,000 records. What was I thinking? It's going to take a minute, but the data does come back into a flat file. Let me stop that here. And try it a little better here. And say, what happened in August? That might be, we might have more success that way. But anyway, to get that information back out to us so we can start to analyze it and see it in a unique way. I promise it comes out. I will show you what it looks like. So here you go. You've got all of your data in a flat file this way with all of your outcome measures.
Great.
All right.
We did actually have one question, Sherry, that came in,
Okay.
which is, it's from Julie. She said, coming from a small org that has somewhat fledgling programs, do you provide any assistance on determining what to measure, like consulting on how to establish and how to set up just metrics more broadly?
Mm-hmm. So I think if you're a SureImpact user, part of our partner success team, when you become a SureImpact user, is that we have templates and tools that we work with our partners on and say, okay, here's how SureImpact is built. Here are our best practice measures library. If you're, let's say you're a workforce development organization or housing organization, or we have it all broken up by different industries or sectors. And so we'll guide you through that. And does this make sense for your organization? Does this make sense for your organization? So we do provide some of that assistance and guidance for our new partners.
Awesome, that's great. One other question, can you talk a little bit about how programs and outcomes can be linked to grant funding? In the context of reporting a little bit more specifically?
Oh, look, there's our export. It did finally show up. Yes, I can. So, and that's another feature I did not talk about. So SureImpact has it's unique. I was speaking from the specific nonprofits, but SureImpact actually allows you to connect in to your funders if they choose to adopt the ability to accept your data from SureImpact. So in terms of SureImpact here, I am actually in a collaborative license environment that has decided to go away for some reason. All right, so this, if you are a funder, so the Seymour Institute actually is a funder. I don't know what's going on here. Well, here we go. So if I were a sponsored org, so crazy. I have a sneaking suspicion that our tech team is doing a demo refresh right now.
That's fine. You can just answer the question conceptually about the
so
demo
anyway,
then,
the short answer is absolutely. So SureImpact can be custom built and designed so that it aligns to your funder's requirements. So whatever your funder is asking for you to track, it can be aligned specifically to those funders' requirements. Even so much so that if you have a funder on SureImpact, then they will assign a program to you. Here we go. So this particular program, we have the Seymour Institute Family Stability. They can have partners. So when so all of these organizations here are receiving funding from this particular funder, and that then pushes down the requirements for this funder into their partner's SureImpact account. So essentially, if that partner is assigning a client to this program, all of the data aligned with that gets shared up and aggregated into the funder's environment. And so they have zero reporting required because they've already, just by using SureImpact, their data has been sent and they don't have to analyze it. They don't have to pull it. They don't have to do anything. Some of our
Wow.
users have said it's saving them hours a week just for grant reporting and grant management, because the platform does it for them as long as they're, inputting the data that the funder is requesting of them.
That's great. Very powerful. Okay, those were the questions that we had. Anything else on your side to mention?
No, I would love to connect with everyone that's interested on Pond. Absolutely reach out to us on Pond. We'll schedule a more custom demo. One of the things we love to do is because the beauty of SureImpact is it is so flexible. So it can meet any nonprofit's needs. But at the same time, then to do a demo like this, where I'm talking to an audience of, I don't know what your mission is and what your mission impact is. If we can connect over Pond, you can give me a little bit more information about your organization. We can prepare a more individual custom demo to show you what that would look like in real time for your organization. Another thing I did want to say is that clients, if you were listening to the conversation that Leanne at Family Housing Advisory Services talked about yesterday, your clients, not our clients, but your clients can be assigned to multiple programs. So that's where she was talking about this holistic view, and being able to see the holistic view of what's going on with a client, and then also being very client centric and not having to re-ask that same type of demographic data because they're already in the system. You're just like enrolling them or referring them to another internal program so that your teammates in other side of your house are able to see how they're moving through the program. So that's another really key benefit to SureImpact.
Great. Well, really appreciate you taking the time today, Sherry. Anyone who's watching this, again, go to the SureImpact profile on the provider page. You can click send a message to Sherry from there and request a personalized demo like she was recommending. Great. Well, thank you so much for you personally and Leanne being a part of Camp Impact. Appreciate it, Sherry.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.